What's up, y'all? What's up? So in this video, right, I'm gonna teach y'all who gave me the idea of becoming sovereign, right? Who like sparked my mind into like learning this information. So um when I was on parole, right, this was about 2019. So I had one more year, right, while I was on parole. I was broke. I was kind of confused at life on what I was gonna do and all that stuff. I knew what I want to do, but it's like life was stagnated at that moment. It felt like nothing was going on. I feel like nothing was going in my favor because I was controlled and owned by the state. So my father, he's in prison, but it was for something that he didn't do. Actually, they charged him for murder, right? Um, and they gave him 88 years at 17 years old. Now he came back off an appeal later on in life, right? In 2020, he got an appeal. He got his big break. So he ended up beating the case, and he finna sue the state for 35 million. Shh, don't talk about that. Now, so he was calling me one day, and now I found out that he was believing and finding out that he was a Moor, right? He was talking about Moorish American and all that stuff. But he then started telling me about like diplomatic immunity. Like, son, when I come home and get these millions, I'm about to buy diplomatic immunity. I'm about to pay 600,000 for it. And I'm like, what you talking about? He said, man, we can be sovereign people, man. We can claim our birthright and our nationality, and we go right back to being sovereign. And I was like, sovereign? What the fuck are you talking about? So that day, it sparked my mind because I'm like, it's a way I can beat this system. And so when he taught me, how I can beat this system and what this system all about, he just gave me a little bit. Like, he didn't even know much about it. He just gave me an idea. So I kept searching up Moorish American. Then I searched up diplomatic immunity. So I was looking at all the ways they was like diplomats can't be arrested, and I was looking at all these people who diplomats they was getting tickets, like just normal stuff. Now this I didn't know nothing about the do not detain list, right? This come further in my life, right? The do not detain list come about a year and a half later. So now a year and a half later, I'm with my wife and everything like that. I was already with her around the time I fell down, but this before me and my wife really locked in. This is like our talking stage or something like that. So now we in 2020. Okay, now I got a son on the way. She pregnant. We moved to Florida, right? So life is going good, like on a financial aspect, but it's still kind of stagnated, right? So I was on YouTube looking at these Moorish American videos, and I was looking at a few brothers. They was talking some good stuff. They was like, man, we got the right to keep and bear arms. The Constitution says this. So I was teaching my homie, I'm like, look, man, we could be sovereign citizens. So I was using sovereign citizen everywhere. I'm like, look, if we claim to be sovereign citizen, we got the right to bear arms. They can't arrest us, but you got to know your shit, right? So I'm like, look, so every time the police stop us and we have a gun, we're going to say, man, we got the constitutional right to keep and bear arms. We got, we got freedom. We got everything, right? So I'm thinking this whole thing out. I'm like, yeah, so wait till I get off parole. I'm going to claim to be a sovereign citizen. So I was looking at other ways of how to claim to be sovereignty. Did y'all know y'all can renounce y'all United States citizenship for $2,700? It costs $2,700 to renounce citizenship. That means you're renouncing all this shit. You don't have to leave the country either. That's what people don't even know. That's another form of claiming sovereignty that people don't even know. It's not even about affidavit. You can renounce this shit, like say, I don't even want it no more, right? But they saying like you gotta go abroad, but you really don't. You can do it here in the United States. You can declare on the penalty of perjury, and you can get yourself right out this motherfucker by claiming you want to be state citizen or a U.S. citizen. You don't neither one of them motherfuckers. And so if you here and you got the birth certificate and you claim renunciation, they give you a certified copy that you renounce U.S. citizenship. That's called being stateless. So since you stateless, you free, but at the sense you ain't gonna get that diplomatic immunity on a passport, but they can't do nothing with you for the whole part, right? So the courts, they're looking at you like, man, you sovereign and everything like that. But I was looking into doing that, so I was telling my pops, man, I finna renounce my citizenship. I finna save up $2,700 so I can go ahead and renounce it. But then I'm looking at the videos. I'm keep watching these videos, right? Then I finally seen a brother named Find This Thing Walking. So, no. First I seen Yusaville video. Yusaville video came on, and then it stole me. I heard that video 1,000 times. My whole life got changed. So it was talking about, man, you get the passport. You know how he kind of sound kind of funny. He from Texas and all that, so he got a little country sound. So he was like, you can get the passport. Do not arrest, do not detain, do not interrogate. That's what we thought the message said on the passport. So I'm running with it. I'm like, oh yeah, how you fill us out? So Finest Thing Walking, he got a video out, how to become a state citizen, right? So you can watch the video for free. You know, it's 27 minutes. I sell the PDF, but for like 18 because I had to write it out, and you can take it wherever you want with you. But he got the video on YouTube, Finest Thing Walking. Go check him out. So when Finest Thing Walking put the video out, he was showing like, you say you live in a rural free area, right, far as like permanent address. And I looked at the whole thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I can't wait to do this. I'm feeling it. I'm so thirsty. Then I started looking at James C. Lovett. He was like, man, throw an explanatory statement in there. I'm like, let's do it all the way. I'm finna change my name. I'm about to change my citizenship. I'm gonna say I'm not a new United States citizen. I am overthinking it, so I'm putting an explanatory statement. Now, this is my first passport. This is in the heart of the pandemic. I don't know much about status change. I really just want to be free. I'm doing anything in my power, so I put in an explanatory statement. So now they got the passport, got me waiting for 6-7 months. I still ain't heard back from them. So I'm like, you know what? I'm like, I know I did it wrong. So my brain started maturing. So now I know what the passport really does. So I'm really milking this shit right now. Now I really know what's going on. I really understand this whole sovereignty and all that. So now we're at a point where I'm saying I'm a state citizen of the Union Republic of Illinois. So now November come. My son about to be born actually in a few days. So me and my wife went up to the post office and me and her filled out for the passports. Now, so we just got the cards. So we got the book on the way, but the cards and all that. So we had got the cards. So I'm waiting for them cards to come back. Then I'm so thirsty. 3 days later go past. I'm hell no, I gotta expedite it or something. So I had end up expediting it. It cost $60 to expedite the passport. So once I paid the expedited fee, then I got thirsty. Yeah, I'm like, look, I'm gonna pay the shipping fee. The shipping fee to get it overnight is $17.25. I'll never forget that. So $17.25 for UPS overnight shipping. Man, 13 days went past. My wife got the notification. Department of State has approved your application, right? So now they shipped her stuff out. Now this is the thing. I forgot to get hers expedited. I'm thinking they got both of our expedited since I paid it and we going to the same address, but no, they did it separate. So she got hers like 10 days later. I got mad on 13th or 14th, but manager, I needed it better than her because of my circumstances worse than her as far as like the criminal record and stuff like that. So once man came in the mail, I was asleep, right? Now remind you, this when we like first got into our place, we ain't no furniture, no nothing. So I'm sleeping on the floor. My wife came in the room. She tapped my head. She said, "Babe, you free?" I said, "What you mean?" And so she put the passport on my head, and I grabbed it and opened it up. It was so cold, man. I felt like I was on top of the world that damn day. I said never. I went to every bank. I went everywhere. I'm thinking I'm God, like walking around with that passport. I threw my license in a garbage can. I should not done that because I should have like surrendered it. But I was so thirsty. I said, F this license. Threw that mud in the trash that same day. I didn't verify to see did my status change or nothing. Actually, I did. I verified it the day before. I just filled out for what's that thing called again? I filled out for EIN and they rejected through the portal. So I'm like, all right, that was one way of verifying your status been changed back then. So after that, I'm like, man. So I'm like, man, what I gotta do with it? So I'm trying to get a bank account with it. They're like, no, we need a social. But this before I knew how to live in a private. This before I really knew how to use the EIN or know how to use the Samoan. I didn't know how to do all that. So I called one of the guys and I'm like, look, I got the passport. I got my status changed, bro. I said, man, I'm trying to verify how did I get my status changed. He like, bad gun. So I'm like, yeah, bad gun. So I hurried up and I called an Uber that same day. I was so damn thirsty. And don't imagine, I only had like $600. I was going to spend half of my money on the gun just to see was my status changed. I really didn't even care too much for the gun. It was just the idea that they took my name and social security number from all government and tax systems. So what happened was I had bought, I had went up to Academy of Sports. So I got one of my homies, we FaceTiming each other. So they asking me questions like, okay, where do you live and stuff like that. I'm like, I live out here in Orlando. He said, we need a piece of paper. You got a piece of mail to show, where your residence at? I'm like, yeah. I got, I just showed him a picture of the vital records, like the birth certificate from Vital Records, the mail that it came in. So once he got that, he took that, okay, this supplemental proof of residency, right? So he took down the address, took down the passport. I picked the gun I want. It was a G2C Taurus. That was the gun I got arrested with. But we're going to talk about that in another story, right? So, okay, so he took my information down. Boom. So now he's running it. 5 minutes came back. None of them just walking back. I'm like, man, I'm nervous. I'm trying to see what this man finna say. Because I don't know, if he tell me denied, we know some fishy happened. But if we know approved, I'm a felon. I'm a double felon. So that's even to let people know, like, nah, this thing real. So 10 minutes go past, he said, I said, what? He said, I passed the background check. He like, yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? That's a federal background check. That's NCIS or something like that, right? That's their system, right? So once I passed it, I was like, I'm invincible right there. The crazy white dude who shot up the school, his dumb ass made it where people in Florida can't even buy a gun and get it the same day. They gotta wait 3 days because his ass bought an AR-15 and shot up a school and killed 17 kids, man. So I had to wait 3 days to come back and pick it up. So I came back and pick it up. But that's how the first time I proved that my status been changed. But but as far as like my sovereign life, my sovereign story, that's how I became sovereign. That's who taught me, or who gave me an ideal of being sovereign, my pops. He didn't know nothing about it, but after he found out what I know, it changed him forever. He still want it, still to this day. He just going through his situation right now with suing the city of Chicago for arresting him illegally because he didn't, do that. I'm out though.